Hi guys, good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Today, actually, I want to talk to you guys for a bit about fragrances and some of the things. Perhaps this is not a fragrance review, so if you're looking for one, you can skip the video. I don't mind at all. So a few things on my mind. I wanted to do a video earlier today, but there was a game, so I sort of ran out of time, so I couldn't do that video. I told you guys I was going to do a tribute video to one of our greatest uh, cricketers of all time. I would say Shane Warne. Those who play cricket, you guys know that he has passed away sadly. And that was very sudden because he was just 52 years old. So we do not know what caused it, but people say suspected heart attack. So the whole world is mourning that, sad demise of him. And he was like undoubtedly like one of the best players ever. He was so. Let's talk about him a little bit, and then we'll go into the video topics. I have a couple of topics on mine, but those who watch cricket, they can relate. Our part of the world, Asia, cricket is not a very big game all over the world. Only few countries play compared to football or soccer. That's like World Cup is really huge, but cricket basically is played by like 12, 15 nations most or tops. But one of the countries is Bangladesh. Then there's all major countries, they play mighty teams are like Australia, South Africa, India, Pakistan, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, like this kind of like the main countries. There are many other countries also play, but mostly these are the big countries. Zimbabwe used to play, and Kenya used to play. So Shane Warne basically was from Australia, you guys know. And when we were very young, just few words, when we were very young, we were in school. So this is the time they were booming, 92, 90s. They are stars of 90s. And that time, Australia was such a team, such a dominating team. Even after that, there's a whole like era. Like they won back-to-back World Cups. They were unbeatable, so strong. They had players of highest calibers, highest batsmen, best fielders, best bowlers. They were unbeatable, literally. So the thing is, Shane Warne was part of that team, and they used to have also play Ashes against England, one of the big teams. Sorry, I forgot. They are arch rivals to play Ashes if you follow. So Shane Warne always had this thing with Kevin Peterson, which I enjoyed a lot. So Shane Warne basically is like a spinner who could spin the ball more than any other bowler. He was the best. Literally, to me, is the best leg spinner in the world. And the thing is, there were a lot of scandals and everything that happened afterwards. And then, like some famous people sometimes get into these kind of things. But Shane Warne remains still one of the biggest stars. And he became a coach, he became a mentor, then he became like a commentator. Recent times, he was also commentating. So Rodney Marsh, he passed away that time. He talked about him, and then couple of days after that he passed away. So we will all miss the, like sadly, bit by bit, all the parts of our life, like our time, leaving us. So this is how life works. One day we'll not be here, maybe tomorrow I will not be here. But when you think about it, we're losing part of our childhood, part of our life. Slowly we seeing their departure, right? So this happens, cycle of life. Today what you have, tomorrow you may not have. So cherish every day. And we all gonna pray for Warren's family, and our thoughts and love with them. Okay, so next topic we're gonna go with, let's talk about, I was thinking about fragrance related topic, but one other thing, I'm actually like, many of you are messaging me regarding many things. Some of you get angry, hey, why don't you reply? Sometimes I don't reply at all. Sometimes, I'm like not just busy, a lot of things bother me. A lot of things are bothering me. I don't want like discussing, these things. I don't like to do that, but I like to solve my problems and come back stronger with a smile and do your reviews. But for the last few months or so, like last few years, yes, a lot of things are bothering me. We live in huge corruption, corruption's everywhere. And I actually moved since 2016, since I moved from Malaysia to here. It's almost like, if you count the years, it's like 7 years. And I've been doing reviews, and I never went out of the house. I do not go far. I don't go anywhere. The reason being, many people say, why don't you take a break? You're becoming like an animal, you are becoming like a machine. You just do reviews every day. Whole day you are with perfumes, buying, then you have a page selling, and you are just always looking at fragrances, your channel. Every day you have 2-3 reviews. Why don't you take a break? You clear your head. I know it's needed, but there's no place you can go here. Just a small country with so much people, absolutely no peace anywhere. It's true, like it affects you. And then more so when you are surrounded by a lot of people who are corrupted, evil, and they misuse their power. You just feel at certain point you're not normal anymore. And I feel that way, I don't think anybody's normal nowadays. It doesn't matter my country. I see senseless killing, senseless war, what's happening all over the world, and then people are selective towards humanity. It really hurts me. It really hurts me as a human being. I cannot say I'm just like a perfect person or I'm a very good person, but I don't like people being in pain. What is the fault of people? Do they want a war? Do they want to fight? In general, people just want to make a living, live happy, and they just mind their own business, right? A simple life. But what happens in reality that politicians in different countries, they think it's a game and they just play without thinking of the people. They just get them engaged in war and a lot of innocent lives lost, And then recent times, Pakistan, that this thing happens every now and then. I don't know who does it. They claim it's certain terrorist group, but I do not know. But killing 50, 60 people in a mosque, including children, women who are helpless, innocent, and they never had anything to do with your government's policies, and they are losing lives, right? These things bother me. These things bother me. If you're human, I'm pretty sure it bothers you too. But it bothers me more when people are laughing over this matter. They say, oh, this is bound to happen. This is a country where all these things happen. Afghan is the country where all the terrorists are there. Palestinian people are all terrorists. Like I see this selective humanity, and they are remain quiet and blind, and it's okay for them when people are murdered. They just go eye blind, but they are very humanity is active when certain country are under attack, by the war, because perhaps of a different religion or so. Ask yourself, I tend to protest against any war against humanity, any wrongdoing, any injustice. This is what I feel. If I am a brown man, if my brother is white, if he is being mistreated, if he is attacked wrongly, I'll still protest, because for me, humanity is not about religion, not about race, not about color. So if you are like me, if you're hearing me, I know many of you have good heart, you are good educated person. Some of you, if you're not educated, but perhaps I believe you have a good heart because you want good for your family, you want good for your children, you don't want bombing on your house, you don't want to getting engaged in a war, you never met the enemy, right? This is how war destroys lives, and then we create history of violence and all those things. So I cannot, I'm a very small person, I cannot change it, but seeing all these things, I think I become a little bit sick every day, right? When I see there's absolutely nothing I can do, I'm just helpless, and I see people are just like sitting there, blind hatred on different countries, news portal, people hating each other, hey, you Hindu, you Muslim, and then you just use, when you are majority, you use your power to hurt the minority. That's the most shameful thing. People don't have the guts nowadays. If you are so strong, if you're so, fearless, and if you really believe in your religion, if you believe in everything that you stand for, why don't you face the government? Why don't you face where the abuse is coming from instead of hurting the innocent people? There are a lot of things that's wrong nowadays, and many of my well-wishers will tell me that, Joy, take a break. What good a break will be, what break is going to do good for me, just pretend like blind, mute, and then deaf. What good is going to bring, right? We're all going to die one day, right? And if we leave this world like this as it is, how much good can come out of it? How people, you tell me how things will resolve, how things will become good. Because if we don't do anything, we just keep seeing it and we just let it happen, continue to happen, and we see that someone's doing wrong, they're spreading a rumor that one minority person did something to hurt our religious sentiment, and we just jump on them and just hurt them, and we just like act like, hey, these all people are like that, right? Very well, not all the people are the same. There are people in your caste, in your religion, in your country, who are as bad as those criminals, and they're just hiding, using you as a shield. So I don't think going blind and then pretending like sometimes nothing is touching you, you just become selfish, it does solve anything. But yeah, to each his own. But I feel no law, no pressure, no fear can change a human being if they don't want to change. That's just impossible. Changes will have to come from us. If we want to keep our country clean, if we want to keep our country corruption free, it has to start with us. It has to be from us that we pray, but we also practice what we pray for. We live an honest life. If we pray and take bribe, If we pray and hurt an innocent person, we pray, we show we are such great fathers and great models, and go out there and we are corrupted cops. We sort of terrorize a family which is just like our own family, right? So there's no use for it. For me, many people feel when you're religious you are just perfect. If you don't practice religion, if you don't have good manners, if you don't have ethics, if you're not kind, what's the good thing about your religion? What's so great about your religion, right? So last point I want to talk about. See, I got a little bit sad, a little bit upset. There's some things I'm going through also, like seeing people every dealing with people. Like nowadays, nobody wants to do the hard work. Everybody's lazy. They're just looking to make money. They like to use other people. They're like stabbing you once you're done being used. This is the reality. And previously, I used to think like the betrayal comes from people who are supposedly your friends. Betrayal comes from family too. Okay, people are very close to you. Sometimes they do say such things to you cannot believe. So much love and respect you have for them, but they actually do something, it will just shock you, right? So yeah, a little bit take care of yourself, a little bit be selfish, believe in God and believe in yourself, and also believe in your instinct. Do not believe everybody just like that. Okay, so last point I want to talk about, let's finish with a little bit positive note. That would be like fragrances. I thought about, like I see a lot of fragrance reviewers. Their styles are different. They're from different countries, different cultures. They are from different weather conditions. Like some countries stay very cold. I see some of the countries, our group members in Fragcomm, Bangladesh, they're always saying, hey, Joy, your winters, you're saying 17 is winter. Haha, we have like 0, -12 degrees. We cannot get those kind of weathers. I wish we could, but I live in a very hot and humid country. So mostly Asia is like not known for their cold weathers, but we have our freshies there, freshy fragrances, but in colder sides you need more oud, leather heavy, boozy fragrances, incense heavy. You'll enjoy that, sweeter tonka bean heavy. And I think that's why I say nobody's wrong. So when I used to watch reviews, when I started off watching the reviewers, they were mostly from Canada and States, right? Because they speak English. I cannot speak any other language like Espanol. I can't speak people reviewing in, let's say, Mandarin. I can't understand, or French for that matter. So obviously I was watching English reviewers. So some reviewers are from States and Canada, and some reviewers are from overseas, but they can still speak English. What I noticed, there was no consistency of reviews. Some reviewers say this fragrance is just great, 10 out of 10. Another fragrance reviewer says it's a trash, 2. Some reviewers who say this is like a beast mode fragrance. Other people say this is like a 1. You get nothing absolutely out of it. And it confuses you, like when you're starting new, you'll be like, who to believe? Who do I go to when it is accurate information? So slowly I learned it's about learning. It's about patience. It's about staying with the game, like keep like hustling every day. And if you're a reviewer, if you're turning to a reviewer, if your love takes you there for some reason, which I became a reviewer, and this is my work now. But I learned that you have to learn these things. When you live in a country, you have to test on yourself what you like. Instead of following people's hype, when you blame people, blame reviewers, why don't you try things that you like, things that you would like? Like for my taste, my best fragrance was Hugo Boss bottle. Any day, every day. Armani Code. Those are fragrances I loved way before fragrance review journey. This thing started, like reviewers started. I didn't know about notes. I just knew what smelled good. Then slowly I learned to adapt to changes, like some green fragrances, some vetiver based perfumes, some oud. There was a time I used to hate these fragrances, like these notes I never wear. I would never wear a women's perfume. But I learned to change. I learned that different country condition, different fragrances are good. Different culture, people like different things. Like Malaysia, for example, is a country people like certain fragrances. Singapore, different fragrances. When you go to UK, people have extremely different views on fragrance. They like Burberry's London, CK Shock. They like fragrances which has like Herod or Tobacco Vanille because their weather suits it better. Their weather is kind of cool. So if you're not living in those weathers, it's very difficult for you to understand why those people like Tobacco Vanille, where it makes you sick in hot weather, These are the things you have to learn. Don't look for cheap or shortcuts, like you're hoping like, I'm going to buy all the fragrance, I have the money for it, but I'm never going to use it. I'm just going to be a kind of like a phony fragrance enthusiast. I'm going to show people I have collection, but I actually learn nothing. So when people ask you, what do you get out of it? Do you get the incense? And then people will tell you like, I kind of got citrus, that's it. And citrus was perhaps the top note. So basically, you don't know about it. it's okay. You don't have to know about your fragrance, but I really feel if you really love something, spend your time with it, and learn. You have to do the hard work. I say you have to because I did. I go from shop to shop, look for discontinued gems, something new, something exciting. I really don't want to accept the fact that they don't make great fragrance anymore, which is kind of like happening. It's becoming kind of like brainless. All the flankers that's coming out, there's nothing original, nothing exciting, nothing groundbreaking coming out, perhaps in the niche world, but I'm in designers, and we don't get everything in our area. So in the end, what I'm trying to tell you is that you are the one who have to keep the light going. If you lose interest and you don't feel it, don't do it. Collection wise, reviewing wise, watching review wise, it will be a waste of your time. Do something that makes you happy. Okay. In the end of the day, very few things nowadays make you happy. Very few people will actually make you happy. You'll see people are with you only until you are good to provide them something, right? So make yourself happy. Know yourself what you like. Smell of rain, smell of flowers. You like the smell of honey or the diesel smell. What do you like? So pick your fragrances based on stuff you like. It doesn't matter how people acknowledge you or accept you. They may not. They may say like, no, your fragrance Narciso Rodriguez for humidity, I don't like it at all. Don't be disheartened. It's not always about compliments, what people tell you. If you have certain personality and you rock it with confidence, that becomes your signature scent. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully I could make some sense, and let me know your thoughts. If I said something wrong, if I hurt your emotions or sentiments, I'm sorry about that. But I actually wanted to share what I feel, especially that part where humanity nowadays is subjective and selective. We are very selective about our own people. We Muslims are good, rest of them are sinners. Other people feel like, hey, those are terrorists, and this really hurts me. You judge people by color and race. That's the part where we go backwards. After all these years, after all this technology, after all this traveling, holidays, and this is how we still feel. We should look at ourselves, right? What are we teaching our children? How they're gonna grow up? Can't you stop the war and hatred? It's all up to us. Have a nice day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.